Welcome to our mathematics class, and today we are still continuing with fractions, decimals, percentages, and financial mathematics. And in today's lesson, we are going to look at solving percentage problems using unitary method and equation. We've seen about percentage change, and where we have the change would be either a loss or a gain, or a loss or a profit. And we saw that it was easier for us to approach the question from the unitary point of view. So today I want us to look in details about the unitary method and how to use this method to solve mathematical problems. Now, if you know percentage of a certain amount, but do not qualify to know the amount. If you know a percentage amount of something, but you do not happen to know the whole amount, unitary method can help us to calculate the whole amount. Unitary method involves first reducing or finding what we call 1 unit, finding a 1 unit value, and then later on now multiply by the number of units you require or the total amount you require. In most cases, when you are dealing with unitary values methods, you will be required to reduce it. If you are talking about a percentage, you reduce it to find out what value does 1% represent. So generally, when we solve problems using this unitary method, we shall always divide the information we have been given to find the unit value. I want us to look at the following examples and mentally try to see what do they mean. And we should be able to solve them mentally. Four tickets to a concert costs $100. How much will 3 tickets cost? We want to work out mentally. 10 workers can dig 40 holes in 1 hour. How many holes can 7 workers dig in 1 hour? Right? Then 6 small pizzas cost $54. How much would 10 small pizzas cost? And finally, 5 passion fruits costs $2. How much will 9 passion fruits cost? Now, starting with the first one, we want to see how unitary method will apply. If 4 tickets will cost us $100, if I say let the cost of 1 ticket be unknown, let it be T. So 4T is equals to $100, where T is cost. The cost of 1 ticket is T, so 4 tickets is 4T, and 4T is equal to 100. To find the cost of T alone, you will divide by 4, and this side by 4, and you get T is equals to $25. Having gotten T is $25, We are asked for how much will 3 tickets cost. These 3 tickets will be 3 times t, right, which is 3t. Substitute the value of t with 25, so it will be 3 multiplied by 25, which will give us a total of $75. So by reducing until we find the cost of one ticket, one means unit, 1 unit, that is t is equals to $25, we have applied the method, the unitary method to solve this problem. So we can solve so many problems in a unitary method. Ten tickets can, 10 workers can dig 40 holes in 1 hour. 10 workers can dig 40 holes in 1 hour. How many holes can 7 workers dig? Our first interest is to find how many holes can 1 worker dig in 1 hour, and then we proceed. So we shall say that let the number of holes that 1 worker can actually dig be, let us give it a letter H. So let H be the number of holes 1 worker can dig. Now, but we don't have 1 worker, that's, we have got how many workers? 10 workers digging 40 holes. That is equivalent to 10 H is equivalent to 40 holes. So it implies that we divide both sides by 10. It means 1 worker can dig 10 holes. 1 worker, this is, we are dividing by 10. So from this, we learn that 1 worker can dig 4 holes because 10 workers will dig 40 holes. So 1 worker can dig 10 holes in 1 hour. But the question is asking us to find the number of holes 7 workers will do what? Will dig. Number of holes 7 workers will dig. So we have seen here that if 10 workers, each digging each number of holes, will dig a total of 40 holes. Then we find the value of H, which is 4, which means that because H is the number of holes 1 worker can dig per hour, so it means that 1 worker can dig a total of 4 holes. We've been asked, how about 7 workers? 7 workers will be 7 multiplied by what? H, which is 7 times 4, which will give us how many? In this case, it will give us 28 holes. 28 holes. So this is the unitary method. For these others, I want you to just look at them and work out and find the solution. 6 small pizzas costing 54. How much would 10 small pizzas cost? Question. If 6 pizzas cost $54, how about 1 pizza? Can you tell me how much will one pizza cost? If you have looked at it, then you see that one pizza will cost 54 divided by 6. So it is giving us one pizza is going to cost a total of $9. And then if we are asked for 10 similar pizzas, then it will be 10 times 9, which is 90. So here, for this one, let one pizza to cost P. 6 pizzas will cost 6P, which is the same as $54. Divide this side by 6, divide this side by 6. You'll find that P is equivalent to $9. How about 10 pizzas? 10 pizzas will be 10 multiplied by P, which is 10P, which can be substituted, and we get 10 multiplied by 9, which gives us a total of $90. That is the unitary method. 5 passion fruits costing $2. 5 costs $2. How much will 9 passions cost? This is an interesting one because it requires us to understand the fraction part. So if 5 costs 2, then 1 will cost 2 over 5, right? So we can call it, let cost of passion of one passion be P. So 5 passion will be 5P, costing a total of 2. We divide by 5 both sides. We find P is equals to 2 over $5. Having found this, we come ahead and look for 9 passions. Okay? 9 passion will be equivalent, cost 9 multiplied by P, but P is 2 over 5. So we shall multiply 9 by 2 over 5, you get 18 over 5, which is equivalent to 3, because of 15, we made a 3 over 5. We can convert this one because this is in dollars. 3 over 5 is equivalent to 3 and we have 3.60, $3.60. $3.60. That is what we get as the cost of this. So in general, when we are solving percentage problem using unitary methods, we need to observe the following. Unitary method involves what? Unitary method involves finding, now what is very important is what I'm going to put across. The value of 1 unit. The value of 1 unit. That is very important. And then having found the value of 1 unit, what follows? Then Then you use the information to answer the question. Then you use this information about 1 unit to answer the question. So it is very important. And when dealing with percentages, when you are dealing with percentages, then 1 unit is like finding 1%. That's the case. When dealing with percentages, one unit is like simply 1%. So supposing we have known the value of 1%. So once the value of 1% has been known, then we shall just multiply to get the percentage we require. Once the value, the 1% has been known, we shall multiply by whichever percentage is given to find its value. So let us look at the questions and see how best this unitary method assists us. If 8% of an amount of money is 48%, 8% is $48. 8% of amount of money is $48. What is the full amount of money? So here we start by looking at 8%. What is this 8%? We say 8% of amount is $48. The question here that comes is to find 1%. So to get 1%, we shall have to divide here by 8. Not 8%, but by 8, so that you remain with 1%. So 1%, of the amount is equivalent to $48 divided by 8, which is $6. $6. Then the question is asking us to find the full amount of money. To find the full amount of money, which is the same as now 100%. This one will be simply, now we are multiplying this by 100 to get 100% of amount is what? $6 times 100, which is $600. $600. So we are able to find the whole amount of money given 8% is $48. So the whole amount was to be 600. That is one of the methods. That is one of the methods. So we have the full amount is 600. There is alternative method also which can still assist us to resolve this question. So we say we want to assign the total amount. Do we know how much the total amount is? So we find the answer is we do not know. Let us assign a value. Let the whole amount be A. Okay? Then it follows that 8% of A, which is $48. 8% is the same as 8 over 100 A. We can have it as decimals, or we can resolve it the way it is by simply now here we shall multiply by the reciprocal, because if you look at this, we want to divide by 8 over 100, or you can simplify by 4 is 2 by 4 is 2, and by 4 is 25. So 25A is equals to 48. When we divide this side by 2 over 25 and divide this side by 2 over 25, we said that when dividing fraction is the same as multiplying by its what? Reciprocal. And in this case, this one will cancel out to remain with A is equals to 48 multiplied by 25 over 2. By 2, 1 by 2 here will give us 24. When you take 24 multiply by 25, you find A is equals to $600. This is the second alternative method we can apply. Simply we create an equation and we solve. The other one was unitary method. We've seen it, and this one is where we are creating an equation and we solve it systematically. So I want us to use this time unitary method to find new percentage. The other one we've done is to find full amount. Now we want to use unitary method to find new percentage. If 11% of the food bill is 77, how much is 25% of the food bill? How much is 25%? You see, we are not looking for the whole amount. We are only looking for 25%, not 100 the way we were looking at it previously. Unitary method will require us to say that 11% of the food bill is 77%. We divide with $77. We divide this side by 11. We find that 1% of food bill is equivalent to 77 divided by 11, and the answer is $7. Therefore, 1% is equivalent to $7. How about 25%? To get 25%, here you multiplied this side by 25. So 1% times 25 is 25%. Is what? Is $7 multiplied by 25. And when you multiply $7 by 25, you'll get a total of $175. $175. We reduced everything to strictly 1%, and then we went ahead to do what? To divide. And after dividing, for both sides we have $1 representing certain amount. We multiplied by the new percentage, which is 25, to find the value of $25. Alternatively, we can have the plan B method here and see if it works or if not, having known that the answer is $175. So let us assign the value for the food bill. Let the amount paid for food bill be B. And then we ask ourselves, how much will 11% mean? It will be 11% of B is 77, right? Which means that 11%, which is 11 over 100, is 77. Divide this side by 11 over 100. Divide this side by 11 over 100. So you find this side, which are made with B, is 77 divided by 11 over 100, which is the same as, okay, see that? So for this case, if you are very keen, for this case, we are going to find the value of the whole amount. And then to get for 25, we just now go for it straight. So by 11, 1 by 11 is what? Is 7. So B is equals to $700. Question is asking for 25% of the amount, but not the 100%. So this is equivalent to 100%. So we go ahead and do the following. Again, here, 100% is equivalent to B, which is $700. So we shall divide 25 is how much? So this case is easier because the whole amount was B, so 700 is equivalent to what? When we talk about 700, that is the whole amount. 700 is equivalent to B. So if 100% is 700, and we want to look for 25% of the total amount. This is the same as 25 over 100 of B. And what is B? 700. So 100 will cancel this, will remain with 25 multiplied by 7. And you'll find the number of dollars is $175. So you can use this method, you can use the previous method, but the answer will always remain the same. So we have seen how we can use unitary method to find the whole amount. We have seen how to use unitary method to find new percentage, or the amount represented by the new percentage. And now, I want us to use the unitary method to find the original price. Using unitary method to find original price. A pair of shoes has been discounted by 20%. If the sale price was 120, what was the original price of the shoes? What was the original price of the shoes? Now, let us start by understanding the idea of discount, and when you are discounted, what does it mean? By talking about discount, it means the sale value has been reduced by 20% of the cost or of the advertised cost. So if you have been discounted by 20, it means that the amount you would have paid without the discount has been reduced. It would have been higher. So this $120 is equivalent to the discounted amount, and discounted amount is equivalent to 80%. So we can simply agree here that 80% is equivalent to the sale price, which is, we are talking of 80% of the marked price, or of the cost of advertising. So 80% of original. Okay, you see that? 80% of the original price is simply $120. Then the question is, we are working out with the, what we call the unitary method, and if it's unitary method, we want to find out what does 1% represent. 1% will mean we divide this side by 80, and 80% divided by 80 is 1%. %, divided by 80 is 1%. So 1% of the original price, where we shall divide the sale price again by 80 to get the amount equivalent to 1%. So we divide here by 80. When you divide this by 80, you will find that it is going to go $1.50. That is 12 into 8 is 1, carry 4. 40 divided by 8 is 5. So we are having $1.50. So 1% is equivalent to $1.50. Have we answered the question? Are we complete with the question? You see, class, we are not through because they want us to find the original price of the shoes. That is where our interest is. And the original price of the shoes is 100%. Therefore, if 1% is $1.5, how about 100? We multiply by 100 here, multiply by 100 there, you find 100% is $150. Therefore, we simply conclude and say that the original amount is in dollars. The original amount of shoes in dollars is 150. So we have been able to get that. The alternative method where we form an equation, that's why we are talking about solving percentage problem using unitary method and equations. That's why we are looking at every area with two different answers. One is unitary, another one is using equation. So this is unitary. We found 150. What if we approached it by equation? So here, we would first say, let the original price. Let the original price. Let us assign the value. I've called it P. Therefore, 80% of P, where P is the original price, is $120. 120 represents 80% of P. 80% is the same as a fraction over 100. So we have formed an equation 80 over 100 P is equals to 180. Now, 1 is equals to 120. If it's going to be 120, what do we simplify the fraction here? By 10, it's 8 over 10. By 2 is 4, by 2 is 5. So we are seeing at an equation of 4 over 5, P is equals to 120. I'll divide this side by 4 over 5 and divide this side by 4 over 5. In fractions, we say when you are dividing by a fraction, you multiply by the reciprocal. So this one will be 120 over 1 multiplied by 5 over 4. By 4 here is 1, and by 4 here is 30, which is 30. This one comes or is simplified to give us total of dollars 150. So P is what we were solving for. P represents the original price. P is $150. Are you there? So that is how we approach this question using what we call the equation approach. The first method was using the unitary method. So let us look at the following questions randomly, and we solve it as we put them on board. Let us look at those. 3% of an amount of money is $27, and 60% of an amount of money is $300, starting from the first one. Now we have, remember, two methods, unitary method and equation method. So starting by unitary, %3 of amount is 27. We want to find out how much will 1% represent. 3% divided by 3 is 1% of an amount is equals to 27 divided by 3. We find it is 9. So 1% represents $9. How about 100%? Will be equivalent to 9 multiplied by 100. And this one will give us that 100% is equals to $900. So it was 27 representing 3%, 1% is 9, and therefore full amount is equivalent to 100%, so you multiply and you get 900. Second approach, we assign the amount and say let the full amount be anything. Let's call it X today. Let's call it X. Let full amount be what? X. Then, right? Then here, we say that 3% of X is equals to $27. Writing as a fraction, you see? X is full amount. X is full amount. Solve for X, you're done. Therefore, here, divide this side by 3/100. And come divide this side by 3/100. You remain with X is equals to 27 multiplied by reciprocal, which is 100/3. By 3 is 1 by 3 is 9. X, which is represents the full amount, is equal to $900. There are many ways to catch a rat. In this case, we've used the first one. We've seen we've been able to reach the answer we have of 900. We have come to the equation method again. We have arrived at the same. It's your duty to find out the easiest method to use. However, in mathematics, we follow instructions. If they tell you solve it using unitary method, you should know what to do. If they tell you solve using a question, then you should be able to know what it means. Now, in this question, it's an application question. It's something you come across. We can apply it in the classroom. For example, if we talk of a classroom, there are those who prefer staying without meals. There are those who prefer going for every meal here and every now and then. But it's not everybody. It's a percentage. Now, look at this question. 40% of workers in a construction company, in a large construction company, prefer to have early lunch. 25% of workers prefer to work through lunch and leave 1 hour earlier at the end of the day. All the other workers prefer late lunch. If 70 workers, not percent this time, if 70 workers prefer late lunch, how many workers are employed by the construction company. So we are being asked to find the total population of workers or employees. That total population of workers is equivalent to, mathematically is equivalent to what we shall call 100%. Question is, are all the 100% employees employed by the company? Answer is yes. Do all employees go for lunch? The answer is no. How many goes for lunch? The early lunch, only 40% go for early lunch. Okay, then what other percentage? 25% prefer working through the lunch and then they leave 1 hour earlier than the rest. So what are we trying to say here? We find a way to add together the categories of those who go for early lunch, those who work throughout lunch hour, and those who prefer to just go without the meals. That is the last group. They actually, all the other workers prefer late lunch. Those who prefer late lunch, and those late lunch are what percentage? So let us assign the percentages for all. Early lunch, it has been assigned 40%. Working through lunch, and then they leave early. So right there, those who leave before leaving earlier, yes, they leave 1 hour earlier. This one is equivalent to what percentage? 25%. And then all the other workers prefer late lunch. Those who prefer late lunch, who are these ones? What percentage of these workers go in for late lunch? You see, we have 40 plus 25. This is 65. What percentage is remaining to give us 100? You'll find it is what? 35%. When you add this, do you get 100%? Let's see. This is a 10, carry 1. This is 4, 5, 6, 7, 10. Yeah, it is 100%. The question goes ahead and tells us that those who leave late, if 70 workers prefer late lunch, those who prefer late lunch, and late lunch are at 35% only, and late lunch are 70 workers. So what are they trying to say here? They are saying that, so 35% is equivalent to 70 workers. So let us write that one down. 35% of the total workers employed there. So you're talking about 35% of W workers is equivalent to 70 workers. 35% of workers is equivalent to 70 workers. Unitary method, what fraction does what percent represent? We shall divide this one by 35. Divide this by 35, right? You'll find that 1% of workers is the same as 35 over the 70 over 35, and 70 over 35 is what? 2. Now that 1% is 2 workers, if you look at the question, now we answer the question, yeah? If 70 workers prefer late lunch, how many workers are employed by the company? They are 100%. So you simply multiply by 100 here to get 100%, which is the total population of employees working in that company. is equivalent to 2 workers multiplied by 100, so you'll find it is 200 workers. So what we are seeing here is a unitary approach of finding the total number of workers working in this particular company. Someone would have chosen alternative 2. Alternative 2 would say, let the total number of workers be W. Right? Then we say this. For those who prefer late lunch are equivalent to 70 workers, and those people are equivalent to 35%. Therefore, 35% of W is equals to 70. See that? So we are looking for W and we are done. This as a fraction is 35 over 100. W is 70. So you will divide both sides by 35 over 40 over 35 over 100, which is equivalent to multiplying by the reciprocal, and the reciprocal is 100 over 35. So that this one goes, you remain with what? W is equals to, by 35 1 by 35 2, W is equals to what? 200 workers. W is 200 workers. We would still check out and find out exactly, supposing we were asked what every category, let us get to know how many were going for early lunch. It is 40% of 200. And 40% of 200, that will give us about 80. And 25% of this will give us, we talk of 25% of 200, this is 50 or so. It will give us 50. So, we should be able to approach this question from whichever dimension and arrive at it. Unitary method, equation method. And we have the same answer. Now, in this question, we are asked, a necklace in a jewelry store has been discounted by 20%. If the sale price is $240, what was the original price of the necklace? What was the original price? So we are going to use both unitary method and equation method to find the original price of the necklace in dollars. So when you look at this necklace here, we can simply say that it will be disposed at $240, which is worth a discounted price of 20%. So what is this value of? What is the percentage value for 240? So we find that the sale value of 240 is equivalent to 100% minus discount, which is 80%. So 80% of original price is 240. Our interest using unitary method is to find the cost of 1% of that necklace. So we want to get 1%. We shall divide this side by 80. 80% divided by 80 is 1%. So we find that we have $240 divided by divide by 80. And as we all know, dividing by a number is the same as multiplying by its reciprocal. That is what we shall have. And you simplify by 80, it will give us here 1. And by 80 here, it will give us 3. So 1% is equivalent to $3. 1% is equivalent to $3. The question is, what is 100%? That is the original price. So the original price is 100. We just multiply 1% by 100. You get 100%. Is equals to 3 multiplied by 100. 300%. 100% is simply 300%. So we've been able to get using that method. If we were to use the equation, we would say let original price be what? Let us call it P. Let original price be P. Then 80P is equals to 240. So there's 80%. So 80 over 100 is equals to 80 over 100P is equals to 240. So when we divide both sides by 80 over P, which is multiplied by 80 over 100, we multiply by 100 over 80, you'll find that we shall remain here with P is equals to 240 multiplied by the reciprocal by 81 by 80 there is 3. So we have what? P is equals to $300. It is much shorter, but we need to know how to form the equation correctly. That's why we kept on insisting. The moment you have been given a fraction, percentage, first approach, convert it into a fraction, and then you work out. It will be easier as you solve this. So when you look at this, we should be able to find the price, the original price of goods that are discounted. We should be able to find the amount of new percentage given a certain percentage. We should also be able to find the whole amount given a certain percentage of the amount. So by now and by the end of this lesson today, I believe we are all able to apply both the unitary method and the equation to solve percentage problem on money matters and amount. That is it for today. Thank you.